Good morning, Minecraft fans. Captain Klesnik here. Welcome to episode 3 of my Enigmatica 9 series. Very happy to be getting back to playing in my world seriously again. I've been out of town for a couple of days. Now, since my game runs on a server, I was able to access this remotely via my old laptop, but the laptop really isn't powerful enough to record sessions. So I've been working on a few little things, but making an effort not to make any real progress since the last time we were together. Anyways, I'll hop into the world and show you what I've been up to. And here we are. So I've dabbled with a few things since the last time. First of all, where do I want to start? I guess we can start back over here. The lava generator was still working fine, but I decided to increase the amount of lava created by making the lava pool a little bit bigger so it would generate more lava per time. Expanded down below to have 4 pieces of dripstone with 4 cauldrons. These 4 cauldrons are all connected by pipe to the pump that's been pumping lava in, where I have now 532 buckets of lava. Oh, and I keep one more over here because, well, everyone needs a trash can. We'll get back to this in a second. So remember that cactus that I picked up in the very beginning of the first episode? Well, is that a hostile mob? Can't quite tell. Well, I set up this farm. Pretty easy one. Just set up some cactus on some sand. I ran back to the desert to grab some. Oh, by the way, because I was dying so often, I decided to set the difficulty of my server down to easy. Normal's a little too challenging for me, at least at this point with the year that I have. So, just set up a couple of blocks of sand with some cactus on it. Cactus will not grow if there is a block next to it. So when these grow up one higher, they break the piece that grew instantly, and they drop down into this water. I just set up some water down here, just kept on experimenting with water blocks until I got something that flowed around all of these pillars that have the cactus. They all flow downhill. Get over to here. This line of signs prevents water from flowing into these blocks right here, and basically means items will flow here and drop off. Down one lower level, I put another water supply down over here, which flows down over to here. Gets down to here, which itself is also prevented from water logging by another sign, so that the item just flows here and hits the hopper. The hopper then is fed into this barrel, and there I have cactus collecting, which I can grab from this side. That's pretty nice. I did a little bit of more exploring around the area. So, for one thing, that's northwest. Here we go. Since I had an iron pickaxe, I went over here to this meteorite. Dug in through the top, set a little ladder so I can go in and out easily enough. And down below, there are budding quartz blocks, which are growing clusters of Certus crystal. So every now and then I will just pop over here and grab the crystal clusters. Also in here was a chest, or an unusual sort of weird looking box that had all the components necessary to get started with applied energetics, I should say. So I'm looking forward to starting with that when I have power in my base. No point in starting with that just yet. How do I get out of here? Yeah, good enough. Over on the other side, I just doubled the size of my power plant. So, you know, if you're going to build something once, you might as well build it again. Hey, I was a little bored. This is still not the design that I want for the ultimate final power plant, but now, as you can see, we have 16,000 stress units that are running perpetually for free, all being driven by this one water wheel. Now, this may seem like a bit of a waste of time, but don't underestimate the power of Create designs. They can do a ton of incredibly useful things, as I will show in this episode before proceeding any further. So what else has changed since the last time? Oh yeah, I made myself a backpack and upgraded it to the iron side. Backpacks are incredibly useful, not that hard to make. To make them, all you need is some leather and some string, and some wood. So the string came from spiders. It also came from flax plants. So when you plant flax plants, you can get flax, which is converted into this flax, which is what you get when you harvest it. And this can be converted into string, and string can be converted into wool, by the way. There's a recipe for it in here somewhere. So with this, I was able to make the knapsack. Oh, you might be wondering where the leather came from. We've had a number of traveling salesmen with some nice fresh supply of leather and leads. So every time they stop by, I check to see if there's anything I want, and then I thank him for his time by making use of his pack animals to get the leather and leads, which I'll be able to use later in the game. So, one last thing I just realized too, I did a little bit of exploring and managed to bring back some more of the Ars Nouveau trees, which I will use when I start exploring that mod pack. That mod, I should say. And I have also a tree from Integrated Dynamics planted over here. All right, so what do we want to do today? Well, first of all, I thought we'd start taking advantage of all this power that we have in Create and start making our first machines in Create to harness some of that power. So, what are some of the things that you can make? So, let me just see what I have in here at the moment. One of the first things that I'd like to do is to set up encased fans that are blowing across lava, campfires, and water to provide stations to smelt, cook, and wash. You'll see what I mean in a minute. All right, to make encased fans, I need propellers, which require iron sheets. I need some more iron. Oh, by the way, between episodes, I was doing some mining. I think it was down at like y = 12. I came to this nice large cavern, and in the cavern I found a vein that contained 74 pieces of iron ore in it. It was glorious. This was a great thing. It seems that in this mod pack, most metals are quite common from all the additional mods, but the default ones, iron, gold, diamonds, are all extremely rare. So that felt really great. All right, I need some iron. Let's smelt some up right now. Well, that'll be enough for 2 fans for the moment. I'll come back for more later. Smash that. Now with 4 iron sheets, we should be able to... Oh, do I not have any andesite alloy? I've got some in here. Shift click allows me to make as many as I can. Shift click. All right, 2 encased fans. These are incredibly useful. So for now, I'll just put 2 side by side. And do I have some dirt? I do. Actually, this might be an opportunity for me to make some trapdoors and grab a bit of lava. You'll see why in a second. Grab some planks. In addition to pumping lava in, I also set up a second pump that is pumping lava out into this spout. The spout, if you have a depot below it, allows you to put an object like a bucket below it. It fills the bucket, and you have a bucket of lava. That's handy. Don't want to dispense it in my house. So, trapdoors. That ought to be enough to start off with. Trapdoors are nice in that they contain liquids in between. So if I do that and I do that, I'll leave that down like that. I can now put in a lava bucket and it will stay contained. I'd also like to make some more of those encased chain drives. Alright, I'll just go grab some more iron. Should I even leave that one down? Need some iron nuggets. Oops. So encased drives are entities, blocks that allow you to put rotational power in, and it will ensure that the rotational power that comes out on the other side all spins in exactly the same direction. This can be useful when you don't want to be dealing with the issue of one spinning one way and one spinning the other way. These will all spin the same way. So now that I've done that, I just need to get some rotational power out here. Let's grab some cogs. I want to grab some cogs. Let's see if I have some large cogs and some smalling cogs. Just got to get some power over to here. And this is a situation where I think I'd like to actually slow down the rate of power. The speed at which power is coming in. So I will slow that down to 8. And then I can slow it down again to 4. And then if I attach some shafts, all right, these are turning, but they're turning the wrong way. As you can see, they are currently pulling air through the lava and through the water to the fan. I'd like to reverse those. So I can do that. maybe by doing one more flip. By the way, when these are rotated, they may look like they're not necessarily attached, but they will all spin when they're connected, even when they're flipped around at 90 degrees like this. Pretty nice. I may have to bite the bullet and just make myself a gearbox. Little pricey, but gearboxes are nice in that rotational power comes in one direction and you can then send it out in another direction. So for example, this is now coming in one way, it can be sent out either horizontally the other way, or if I rotate it with the wrench on this side, I can turn it to rotate and send it out vertically. So I'll just leave this here. They also have the advantage that notice that the cogwheel is spinning one direction over here. It'll spin in the opposite direction on the other side. So this is a very easy way to flip the direction. And now you notice that the fans are blowing through the water and the lava and sending particles of hot air and moist air over here. So if I ever go into that, notice it damages me and sets me on fire, but I have a nice water stream over here. So what can we do with this? I'll just put some dirt down. So, as I mentioned before, I came back with a lot of sand from the desert. The old way that you would turn sand to glass is you would put it into the furnace and one piece of sand would be melted at a time and it'll pop it down into here using some coal in the process. And there we have one piece of glass. The new way is I can take an entire stack, drop it down in there, and it will start smelting the entire stack all at once. The rate that it smelts, by the way, is dependent on the number of items in the pile, but the rate is the same up to 16 items at a time, and then gets slower up to 64. So this will take a little while. I now have a stack of glass. Nice, huh? In fact, let me take a use of this glass. Do they have connected glass in these? Let's see. They do have connected glass. Well, that's nice. All right, so what I will do is I'll just make some connected glass. These walls are not really necessary because, to be honest, the blowing particles blow in only one direction. So as long as you drop it in there in the right column, it won't mix. But nevertheless. And I think I'd like to make a slab to make it easier for me to pick these up. Yeah, just like that. Let's actually set up a third one of these. So with that, I will need another fan. Maybe I'll be right back. You don't have to see me make this again. And let's put the water back in there. So campfires can't be waterlogged, so therefore they will also hold water and lava in, prevent them from flowing into the middle. And now we have 3 different streams. As always, inventory is an issue. So what can we do? How do we know what these recipes are that these can take advantage of? Well, if you go and look at, for example, sand, hit U, you'll notice that here there's a bulk blasting. This tells you that as long as you put the sand in front of an flowing air with the lava heating up that air, it will turn it into glass. Now, interestingly enough, the speed of the conversion is completely independent of the rotational speed coming into the fan. The distance that the air particles will flow is dependent on the speed coming into here. But the rate of conversion, always the same, independent of speed. So by setting this to a lower speed, we're using less power to get the conversion done. I know we have 16,000 stress units worth of power over there, but nevertheless, on principle, waste not, want not, as the saying goes. So I think what I'm going to do right now is just mix some more glass, so I can get all those going. As a rule of thumb, this is for smelting items that you would do in a smelter. This is for cooking items. The campfire heats up raw food and turns it into cooked food. The water is for washing items, and there are a number of recipes that take advantage of that. You can also set up a soul fire for haunting items as well, but I don't need to do that at this point today. So, you know, smelting stacks of 64 items was taking a really long time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a chute here that I will place over the streaming particles of heated air. And I'll make a chest as well. And I'll put that chest up on top of the chute. Just like that. Chutes are very easy, just 2 iron sheets and 1 iron ingot. Makes 4 of them. And what they do is they sit underneath objects like chests, and they can pull contents out and drop them down 16 at a time. As I mentioned before, smelting 16 items at a time goes relatively fast, the same speed as smelting 1 item at a time. So I thought I'd give this a try right here. Notice it's putting them out in clumps of 16 at a time. We'll see if that, and that smelts them significantly faster. Oh. Alright, so let's clean up a little bit. Alright, at this point I'd like to change gears and work in a different mod for a while. I would love to have a tree farm, but I need brass, and brass requires a trip to the Nether, and trip to the Nether requires obsidian. And oh, by the way, I made some obsidian over here. The way you do that is just make a pool of lava and pour some water over it, and it turns it to obsidian. And therein I ran into a problem. You'll notice that when I try to pick it, it says need level diamond pickaxe to collect obsidian. So with all of my mining, I've only found a total of 4 diamonds. Not a whole lot, and I don't think I want to use 3 of them just to make a pickaxe. I think I'm going to try switching over to the mod called Thermal. It's a whole collection of devices that can be used to generate power and make their own set of tools. One of which that I really, really like is the fluxo magnet, where if you have some power that you carry in the form of a battery in the flux capacitor, you can power this magnet and it'll collect items around you. And there's also this flux bore, which I think we can make without using diamonds. It's going to require tin, it's going to require gold, and we can upgrade this to the point where it will be able to mine obsidian, I think without needing any diamonds. So we're going to go that route for today. So to do this, I need to first start by making a crescent hammer from the pack. So we're going to need some more iron. We're going to need a lot of more resources. I think we're going to need start with that much iron, and I think I'll grab some tin, and I'll grab some redstone, and in fact I'll grab some more redstone, and I think I'm going to need some nickel and some lead. So I might as well go and smelt all these down. Oh, one thing I noticed, the pack has different kinds of lead. There's a lead from mechanism, and there's a lead from thermal. They may be interchangeable, but I don't know if they are. Oh, look, it's raining. So, can this be smelted itself? I guess not. So I'll just take these blocks, convert them back to individual pieces of raw metals, and then I should be able to throw. Those are all smelting up at the same time. And they're done. All right, let's go inside and see what we can build. So, first thing I wanted to do was make the hammer. This requires 3 iron and also an iron gear. Make one of those. And make one of those. I think this time I'm actually going to pay attention to the quest rewards as we're going along. Okay, now one of the first things we need to do is to generate some power. These are made by dynamos. Dynamos consume some sort of fuel and generate energy. I think they call them FEs, or flux equivalents. That's the energy unit in the game. So compression dynamos burn liquid fuels to generate energy. Stirling dynamos, on the other hand, burn solid fuels, such as coal, lumber, charcoal, things like that. We'll make a Stirling dynamo first and go from there. Okay, I did a little bit of cleaning up. Made room over here on this end of my home to start introducing technology here. As I said, I want to start with a Stirling dynamo. So why don't I add that to my list of recipes that I want to make. Do that by hitting A to toggle it on and off in the upper left corner there. I'm going to want to make a pulverizer. So I'll add that. I'm probably going to want a redstone furnace, but I don't know. We'll see about that one. But I definitely would like to have the induction smelter. So we'll add that. And I'm going to want to make a flux magnet. And a flux bore, and maybe the flux capacitor, which is a battery of sorts. Oh, to be able to charge things up, I'm probably going to want to make a tinker's workbench. That's the one. All right, so let's get crafting. The first thing I guess we'll start off with is make a dynamo. So we'll go to the Stirling dynamo and see what we need to do to make that. All right, so first of all, we're going to need a number of redstone flux coils. So let me grab whatever gold I have. We'll need more than that. I'm going to need at least 6, let's say. All right. So what I'll do, I'll split this in half. May need more, but don't want to waste that. So I'm going to need a number of these redstone flux coils. I think I'm going to need one per machine at least. So I'm going to need at least 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. Yeah, let me throw some more gold in. I'm going to need an iron gear and cobblestone. I think ought to do it. And by the way, while I'm at it, I think at some point I'm going to need some smooth stone, so I might as well start smelting up some cobblestone for that as well. Nice. Sleep through the night. And my first dynamo. And that gave me a quest reward of some sort. As I'm doing these, I think I'm going to keep tabs, as I said. So by making a dynamo, oh good. They gave me more food, and they gave me some cabling. So I'll just throw the food into my knapsack. So I'll just plop this down right here. They also gave me some cabling. That's really quite nice, actually. So maybe rather than putting it here, I'll grab my wrench, the crescent hammer, which allows me to right-click and change the direction that this generator is pointing. The big red bulb is the direction that power flows out of the device. And with that, I can start laying down cable, which will transmit power for me. So I'm going to need at least 3 devices, possibly 4. So I might as well start generating some power. So I was making some charcoal before. Here we go. Sure, we'll start with a stack. So this is starting to generate power, and it will fill up its own battery in the process, I think. So it's first filling up these power cables. The power cables can contain some amount of energy on their own, and then this will fill up. Now, when this fills up, this will slow down but not stop. So I should probably keep an eye on this. If I see this is 100% full, I'll probably want to take the charcoal out so it doesn't keep burning it indefinitely. Eventually, I'll set up a system where I can actually have it automatically detect that it's full and turn itself off. But we'll get to that soon enough. All right. Now, as I said, I wanted to make a pulverizer next. I'll take this one off. Go to the pulverizer. What do we need for this? All right, we need pistons, which needs more redstone. Probably should make a few of these. Well, I have enough for one right now. And copper gears. All right. I'll grab the copper. Make a few more iron nuggets. And this will allow me to make 2 copper gears. And I need a machine frame, which needs glass and a tin gear. Got some glass made out over here. This is where I was storing it. So I think I can make this. Probably gonna need another one of those, so I might as well make it now. Which needs another tin gear. In fact, I'll make 2 more tin gears. And that way I can make 2 more machine frames with, I need some flint. Got a little bit of flint here. Not a lot, but something. We can then make a pulverizer. All right. The pulverizer, what I'll do is just plunk it down over here on the cable, and it will start drawing power up from the cable. So this was the battery that was filling up. This is now filling up the pulverizer, and when that's full, it will then fill up its own battery as well. It's a good start. To get credit, I have to actually pick up a raw nickel. All right. I picked up a raw nickel. Something from Farmer's Delight. Well, I'm going to lose a little bit of power, but I want to get credit for making the pulverizer now. Whoops. More food. Some benthic aqua chow. Okay. Put these away for now. Technic grenades. Don't need them. All right. Next, I'd like to make an induction smelter for sure. This is full. That's filling up. I'll take the charcoal out. So what do I need to do to make an induction smelter? Need a frame. I need to make a blast furnace. So why don't I do that first? Which is going to need a furnace. And I need more iron smelted. Actually, at this point, I'll take advantage of the fact that I have a pulverizer. If you click on the show recipes, it will show what it can pulverize into what. There's 26 pages on there. But you'll notice that for raw ores, it will give you 1 piece of dust, which can be smelted to an ingot, but it has a 25% chance of giving an additional one. So it's not ore doubling, but it can increase the yield from the limited amount of resources that we have. So if I pulverize these 5 pieces of iron, if we're lucky, not bad. Got 8 pieces of dust. vaporizer anymore. Let's go straight to the induction smelter. So I was making a blast furnace. Oh, I need 3 pieces of smooth stone, which requires taking some of the stone that I made and smelting it again. So I'll do that. So now, can I make a blast furnace? Yes, good. And finally, invar gears, which requires invar ingots, which requires either fire charges, or what you can actually do, if you go over to the smelting, you can make on invar blend, which is 2 pieces of iron dust and 1 piece of nickel dust gives you 3. So, like I said, I need at least 8, which means I need at least 9 of these. So, maybe I shouldn't have smelted up all that iron, but that's okay. What I can do is just pulverize them again. And 2 pieces of nickel. And now I think I can do... Oh, come on. That's 6 pieces. All right, need a little more. There we go. All right, 9 pieces of invar blend. Days go by so fast. Huzzah, made some invar, which will mean that we can go and make 2 invar gears, which means that we can make an induction smelter with some sand. Oh, did I use up all the sand? I did. All right. I'll need to go and get some more later. Or I can make it, actually. And I got an induction smelter. Oh man, lots of stuff. Nifty. Okay, now that I have that, need a little more power. Now that I've made an induction smelter, I think I can make brass. And brass is made with a zinc ingot and copper ingots. All right. And haha, without actually going to the Nether and capturing blazes to make blaze burners, we are making brass, which is a good thing. Oh, we're running out of power. I'll stop that for now. Let it charge back up again. All right. What's the next thing I wanted to make? I'd like to make a magnet, a tinker's workbench. All right, for a tinker's workbench, we need to have some wood, some logs. Let's make that. More iron. All right. Be right back. Good. All right. With that, I think we can start making the flux magnet and the flux bore. I think I want to do this one first. So I need 2 tin gears and a gold gear. And a drill head is easy to make. Let's hope I have enough for a gold gear. It looks like I do. And I need 2 tin gears. And one of these things too. And with that, oh, so close. All right. Made the flux bore. Yikes. Lots of stuff. Fluid cell. Let's put this over here. Put this inside the bag. More raw ore. That's nice. Looks like I got a hammer. All right. So what this thing does, you can charge it up by putting it into the Tinker's Workbench. Currently has 50,000 RF redstone flux, which is pretty close to Fe. And when it's charged up, this is a device that never takes any damage, just runs out of energy, and it acts as a pickaxe or a shovel. So it goes through dirt, and alright, at this tier it can't go through obsidian yet. So let's see about making an upgrade for this thing. So we're going to need a lot of power in there, so why don't I just go ahead and put some in for a while. Alright, so thermal does have upgrades. So let's see if we can make a tier 1 and maybe even a tier 2. So what do we need for the tier 1? upgrade. We need another gold gear. We need more invar. And the rest is easy. So first of all, can we make a gold gear? Nope. I think I can just use the smelter too. Yeah. Not as energy efficient, but that's okay. Okay. We need invar again. So invar, now that we've made an induction smelter, we no longer have to go to the dust. We can just take the the ingots themselves and combine them together. So let's see. I need to have 4, was it, or 8? I can't remember. Yeah. Let's make 12. I'm sure it'll be useful at some point. Actually, I take that back. Only needed 4 right now. And with that, we have an upgrade. And a reward for an upgrade. Another fluid cell, another phyto grenade. More aqua chow, wonderful. Alrighty, so what we can do is we'll put this into the Tinker's Workbench. It is charging, but if I click this button, it allows me to put an augment into the flux bore. And now when I switch it back, it now has double the energy capacity, and it now is the next level of pickaxe. So let me see if this can go through here yet. Nope, not yet. All right, let's sleep through the night. Why don't I go ahead and make the flux capacitor at this point? Provide me a little extra power to take with me. And if I'm lucky, I might get a better reward. So, like I said, we'll do the flux capacitor. Oh, man. We're burning through our gold. I'm just going to take all the rest of the raw gold and turn it into ingots. Can do the nickel as well. Okay, and a flux capacitor. Nice, there we go. We got a tier 2 upgrade, which I'm going to put right into my flux bore. So if I pop this one in, whoops, over here, lock it in. Now let's take a look. And we can mine it without using any diamonds. There we go. Huzzah. Well, let me just go ahead and take off one piece of this right now. Come on. Yay, I've got obsidian. Nice. No longer need the pickaxes at all. I think what I will do is, like I said, this flux capacitor is sort of like a battery. So I'm going to put an upgrade into it. And I might as well charge it up too. That can hold 1,000,000 RF. What's nice is you can have this sitting in your direct inventory, and when you do, it will keep other devices charged continually. So, all right, I'll let this go. I think I might even want to just go ahead and throw another stack of charcoal in there. That will certainly take a while to fill up. And last but not least, can we make that flux magnet? One more iron and one more redstone flux coil. So let's see if we can do that. And one more iron ingot. Yay. Very nice. And more rewards. All right, let's go and put all these into the technology drawer. That's the magic drawer. This is the technology drawer. Oh, wow. So this is a tier 3 upgrade. That's very nice. Okay. May decide to do a little swapping around, but let's empty our bags out of all these things. Actually, let me go and put all the excess ingots back in here. I can put some glass in there. Hard glass, which is immune to the wither. That's nice. Stash that away. We'll stash this away, stash that away. Clean up. Everybody does a part. Those are some nice rewards, actually. So I'll just sort the container. So these things increase the speed at which a dynamo generates power. It'll be less efficient, but it will burn through our charcoal and coal faster. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. Oh no, that's the speed of something that's like processing something. So I can put one in there, and I can put one in here. The way you can also change it is each machine has its own set of tabs. This tab is for putting in and on augments, upgrades, that sort of a thing. This is where you can specify whether you need a redstone to turn on or redstone will turn it off or something like that. And down here you can configure whether when something is going where it puts the output to. So, this was a good start. So I'm going to take this out for a minute. I'll put this in, take out this component, put this component in its place. This can come down here now. And then what I'll do is I'll put this back up here, take this one out. So that has a tier 2 upgrade, which means now it's able to hold 1.5 million flux equivalents. And I think the Tinker's Workbench itself, I'll put this last one into right now, because that will increase its capacity, I think. Did it? Yeah, it made it be able to hold 1 million energy. So it'll be a pretty large battery for charging things. And so the way you set this thing up, by the way, I think it's the V key, allows you to configure whether it's going to be charging things in your hand, things in your bags, or both. And then you sneak right click or shift right click to turn it on. So it's now activated, and you might notice that it used up all the power, which is all transferred over to the flux bore. Let me just clean up a little more. Go in there. This is the one I was thinking of. This is the one that increases, well, this one will increase the efficiency of the fuel that's being processed by the dynamo. So why don't I put those in? Coal will go a little further now. Still only producing 16 RF per tick, and there's 20 ticks per second, in case you're curious. Good, we're going to get credit for those. And we'll get credit for these. Totem of Undying Friendship. All right, put that in the magic. Got an Ender Pearl. A couple of them, actually. That's pretty nice. And I think there's a few more upgrades that I would love to make. One of them, why don't I put that back in and let it keep charging? In thermal, is it called an augment? Yes. I'd like to make this radial augment if I can. So that needs some tin and a redstone servo. So how much iron do I have left? Oh, I have plenty of iron. Yeah, it's worth it to me. So I might be burning through the last of it, but that's okay. We will go mining for more with our new fancy miner. So let's pulverize that. So this requires one of these and 2 of these. And 2 tin ingots. In fact, I like those so much, I'm going to see if I can make one more of them. All right. We can make 2 of those. I only needed 1 of them, but I need 1 of these guys. And then I have 2 of these upgrades. Very sweet, as you will see why in a moment. So if I put the flux bore in, I set this to upgrade mode, and I can put these 2 radial upgrades in there and take the bore out. And now let's go mining. Seems pretty nice over here. So put our torches in the offhand, grab our flux. So as you can see, it can work 1 by 1, or 3 by 3, or 5 by 5, which is a lot nicer for mining, let me tell you. Oh, let me turn on my magnet. I think it's V. And then if I leave it over here, now when I mine things, they all come back to me automatically. Nice, huh? So, that seems like an excellent place to stop. Sorry that this episode ran a long time, but I wanted to get to this point. So I'll do a lot of mining between now and the next episode. So we'll be all set to build some more contraptions. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.